Stitch was only 2 years old. He was a Great Dane, one of those dogs whose size can be intimidating until you get to know them. But Stitch was especially vulnerable. He was blind, and while he was living at Indianapolis Animal Care Services, he depended completely on the people around him to keep him safe. On July 1st, 2026, Indianapolis was experiencing extreme heat. That evening, Stitch was found in the outdoor portion of his kennel, suffering from extreme heat stroke. Medical staff tried to save him, but by the time he received emergency treatment, his condition was irreversible. The decision was made to humanely euthanize him so that he would not suffer any longer. Stitch died in a shelter that was supposed to protect him, and according to the shelter itself, it should have never happened. Only weeks earlier, Indianapolis Animal Care Services, better known as IACS, had opened a new shelter on East Raymond Street. More than $37 million had reportedly been spent on the new facility. It was more than twice the size of the old shelter, with expanded medical areas and indoor and outdoor kennels to improve the lives of the animals housed there. It was supposed to represent a new beginning. Then came July 1st. The people in charge knew the heat could be dangerous. In fact, IACS says the kennel manager had given the kennel supervisor special instructions the day before. During cleaning, employees are supposed to work on only one side of the kennels at a time. The dogs could be moved briefly while that side was cleaned, but they were supposed to be returned indoors immediately before employees moved on to the next group. The procedure was meant to make sure that no dog was left outside for too long. But somehow, those instructions never reached the people who needed them, or they were not followed. While the kennels were being cleaned, Stitch was confined to the outdoor portion of his kennel, and he stayed there. IACS has only described it as an extended period of time. The shelter has not publicly said exactly how long that means. We don't know what Stitch experienced during that time. We don't know when he first began showing signs of distress, but we do know that heat stroke can worsen quickly. A dog may begin panting heavily or drooling. As the body becomes overwhelmed, the dog can grow weak, confused, become sick, or collapse. Stitch could not call for help. He could not tell anyone that something was wrong. And because he was blind, he was already navigating an unfamiliar world without being able to see the people or surroundings around him. He needed someone to notice. At around 6:30 that evening, a staff member reportedly told the kennel manager something deeply troubling. The employees had never been instructed to clean only one side of the kennels at a time. By then, the safety feature had already failed. Stitch was evaluated by medical staff and found to be suffering from severe heat stroke. They attempted emergency treatment, but it was too late to reverse the damage. When I first saw Stitch, this case became extremely personal for me. I'm a Great Dane mom too. My Great Dane's name is Durango. People see the size of a Great Dane and assume that they are these fearless, tough dogs, but they are just big babies. They are sensitive, loving couch potatoes who want to be close to their people. And Stitch looks so much like Durango. When I looked at his picture, I couldn't help imagining my own dog in that kennel. I cannot imagine this happening to Durango. I cannot imagine it happening to any dog. This one really hurt. And the question I cannot get past is, how did no one know that Stitch was overheating? How long had he been outside? Did no one walk past his kennel? Was anyone responsible for checking on the dogs while the kennels were being cleaned? Did the employees who were caring for Stitch know that he was blind? And did anyone recognize the warning signs before his condition became irreversible? I'm not asking these questions because I want to accuse someone without evidence. I'm asking because the story that we were given does not explain how a young blind dog could become so dangerously overheated without anyone intervening in time. After Stitch's death, IACS acknowledged that its procedures had not been followed. Director Amanda D. Honey Hinkle said the shelter team was devastated and announced that the incident would be investigated. Public reporting has since indicated that an employee had left their position, but one person leaving does not tell us the complete story. Was this one employee's mistake? Did a supervisor fail to pass along critical instructions? Was no one monitoring the outdoor kennels? Or did several failures come together at the worst possible moment? So far, the investigation described publicly appears to be an internal administrative investigation. I have not found public confirmation that criminal charges have been filed or that law enforcement has opened a separate investigation. That does not mean a crime occurred. A failure to follow workplace procedures is not automatically a criminal act, and any criminal decision would have to be based on evidence reviewed by the proper authorities. But accountability is not limited to criminal charges. Stitch's death raises questions that IACS should answer publicly. How long was he outside? Does surveillance videos show what happened? Who was responsible for monitoring him? Why didn't the heat safety instructions reach the employees? And what has changed since that day to make sure another animal is not left outside and forgotten? Stitch was only 2 years old. He was blind, trapped in dangerous heat, and entirely dependent on his caregivers to bring him back inside. He could not save himself. Someone had to notice. And by the time someone did, it was too late. What do you believe needs to happen next? Should IACS release its complete timeline and the findings of its investigation? And should Stitch's death be reviewed by an independent agency? Let me know what you think in the comments. Please keep the conversation respectful and focused on the facts. This case is still developing. If official records, investigative findings, or charges are released, I will share an update. If you like this content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'll see you next time on Gory Explorations.